everyone who joined us via Zoom. My name is Jasmine Barwaj. I'm the Marketing and Member Services Manager for the Salinas Chamber of Commerce. And today we will be having a robust presentation with the Building Business Back program, the program of the Monterey County Business Council, with Jesus Escutia and Jose Luis Barajan. And I'd also like to thank them for sponsoring lunch today. And before passing on the torch, I'd also like to take a moment to recognize all of our ambassadors that are here today. So our ambassadors, please raise your hands. We have Carlos, we have Tony, who is also going to be our board member next year. And we also have Armando Soria, and we have Oscar way in the back over there. And we have Michael LaRocco, we have Daniel Philpott, we have Jan Burnett. And we also have our staff member, Willa, who's our Director of Operations and Finance. Then we have Gabe right here, Gabriel Lopez. Yes, we have Jan Burnett.
And Tiffany Fournier
on Zoom. So thank you to all of our ambassadors. And we also have our CEO, Steve McShane.
Sure. Thank you for coming to the chamber. We are red hot and rolling. Lots of programming this year, and next year is going to be even more exciting. So we're glad you're involved. You know, as Gabe and I always talk about, your membership in the chamber is like a gym membership. You know, you got to use it. You got to come to our events and be engaged and watch out. The results are impressive. So today, a very, very, very relevant topic with a terrific organization we work with very closely with the Monterey County Business Council and Building Business Back. So I just want to welcome you guys as well and look forward to this presentation. So thank you.
Thank you. And without further ado, please help me in welcoming Jose Luis Barajas and Sophia.
Thank you everyone for coming. My name is Jesus Escutia. I'm the program manager for Building Business Back.
And I'm Jose Luis Barajas. I'm the program assistant for Building Business Back.
So by show of hands, who has heard of Building Business Back? Okay, hopefully. Don't worry, by the end of this, we'll all be friends. Don't worry. Just if I could you tell me your name and what business you have or own or operate? If you want to start off on.
My name is Griselda Castillo. I'm a nurse and I own a medical spa.
I'm Erin Solicito and I run Monterey Touring Vehicles. We rent classic and vintage cars.
Hello, I'm Cindy Merzon with the Cal Coastal Small Business Development Center. Nice to see you.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jan Burnett. I'm with Treehouse Mortgage.
I'm Greg Hammer. I'm with the Salinas City Center Association.
Daniel Philpott, business mentor and tax strategist. We find no so.
Michael Rocco, the CEO of I Know So.
Luis Contreras, financial advisor with First Financial.
Okay.
I'm Jordan Camero, Group of Real Estate Financial Services.
Oscar Mora with Treehouse Mortgage, branch manager then.
Armando Soria with Soria Contracting and Solutions.
Tyler Everett, I own a small farm out in Comal Valley.
Ariel Hopkins, I'm with him. We're going to be hopefully consulting together.
Yes.
Closing then, this is for Jim Cutter and IT consulting and business development.
Tony Sanchez, run Big Valley Mortgage here and also Spiffy Cleaning Services.
Okay.
Brian Garcia, I work with Environmental Innovations, and we're starting a program here with Salinas, the California Green Business Network.
Sandra Faith, Business Relationship Manager with Chase.
Josh Tampa, Community Manager for Chase.
Lisa Nguyen, Business Relationship Manager for Chase.
Jesse Blanco, Entrepreneur, a certified personal trainer.
Nice. Okay. Well, for anyone that is looking for loan, you heard who the bankers are. But yeah, so thank you so much for introducing yourself. It really helps out. That way we can kind of tailor what it is we're going to say. The changes. One second.
You have to put into the.
Oh, all right. So kind of jumping into our agenda. So we're going to jump into what building business back is, who we partnered up with, and what kind of our role is to the businesses. We'll dive into the topics that we cover as far as our workshops, what we do, the diverse outreach that we've done, sorry. The relief programs that are available, including some of the highlighted ones that really we've seen come back to a lot of businesses. And then we'll dive into questions and answers. Okay, so our program is called Building Business Back. We're a program of Monterey County in partnership with Monterey County Business Council. We exist because Monterey County received $84.3 million in ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan Act. And they decided to allocate $1 million a year for 3 years to help businesses recover from the pandemic. So our purpose. Building Business Back is an informational hub for businesses to find grants, loans, workshops, other resources. We've partnered up with other business supporting organizations, and we've also do all of our services in Spanish and English. We also have an emphasis on Monterey County, or we work in Monterey County with an emphasis in the unincorporated areas, including those that are women-owned, minority-owned, LGBTQ+ community. So let me cover the workshops. So we've committed to doing 15 workshops every year for the next 2 years, this year and the consecutive 2, to doing 15 Road to Recovery workshops. In those Road to Recovery, we cover a wide range of topics that could benefit businesses with whatever it is that their current situation is needed. So far, we've done 14 this year, and we're currently going to do the 15th on the 15th, which is this month, which I invite everyone to attend. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. All of our workshops are done in person and in Zoom. We try to do at least 3 in each district in Monterey County. That way we can complete the 15th. And then, like I said, all of our all of our workshops are done in Zoom and in person. They're both bilingual. For next year, we are thinking of doing some in Spanish as well, and then translating them into English. So the types of workshops, like I mentioned, we cover a wide topic of workshops. Some of them are, for example, making more money with government contracts, where we dive into how businesses can get government contracts, how to register and be eligible for those contracts. We partner up with PTEC, which is the
Procurement and Technical Assistance.
Yes, which happens to be in our own office. We work with them very closely. And then we have the Money for Your Business, which we cover loans, grants, and other resources that could benefit businesses. And then we do a series. Well, our goal is to make more series, but this year we did a building a money-making business where we cover pretty much from beginning to end, business plans, startup assistance, cash flow management. That way the businesses can get up and running as quickly as possible. All right, so like I mentioned, the most recent workshop that we're going to host is on the 15th. It's the American Rescue Plan Act, where we're going to talk about how the cities invested their money that they received from the ARPA fund, which I believe this one is going to be for District 5.
Yeah.
So the Peninsula, Pacific Grove, Delray Oaks. So the outreach. So since we've started, we've done a specific outreach to diverse communities. Recently, we've did outreach to King City, where we held our first lunch and learn with King City and with the help of their city members. We plan to host more of them in each district quarterly throughout the next years. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. We plan to partner up with more in corporate participation and more diverse events throughout the next year. All right, so like I mentioned at the beginning, we have partnered up with business-oriented organizations. For example, the Small Business Development Center, SBDC, and CalCoastal, the Salinas United Business Association, SUBA, which is Jose works with very closely with the director Alejandro. The Monterey Bay Procurement Technical Assistance Center, PTEC, which we partnered up numerous times with workshops out there we collab together. We've partnered up with Monterey County Workforce Development Board and other minority organizations. We've also have created relationships with the local elected officials, Steve McShane, the City of King Mayor, and as well with their staff. Thank you. And also Chamber of Commerce, so the Salinas Chamber, Big Sur Chamber, Monterey Peninsula, Pacific Grove. And I believe.
Well, I come in, everyone. So I'm going to go into the relief programs that we've selected to highlight for today. So first and foremost, our program serves as an information hub, so you'll be able to find an extensive and exhaustive list of resources available to business owners on our website, and it's available in English and in Spanish. So the relief programs that we're going to go over today are all pandemic related. So first and foremost, it's the California Microbusiness COVID-19 Relief Grant Program, the small business license fee exemptions, which is 2, and those came down from the state, as well as the federal employee retention tax credit. So the California Microbusiness COVID-19 Relief Grant Program, what is it? It's $2,500 that small businesses can receive. There's a couple eligibility criteria. So you have to have made less than $50,000 in 2019. So for this grant in particular, businesses do have to have been in operation prior to the pandemic. You also have to have seen a reduction of 10% or more in revenue, which given the state of the pandemic is more likely than not. And this is specifically for micro businesses. So for all intents and purposes, that's 5 or fewer employees. There's only 4 documents that are needed to apply, which is a government issued ID, your 2019 tax form 1040, which is Schedule C, your W-9, and to fill out the vendor data record. The vendor data record is simply so that the county can disperse the funds directly into your business's bank account once they've been issued. And the county has enough funds for at least 180 businesses. This grant program was actually supposed to be done by now, but because very few businesses have applied for it, the Board of Supervisors has chosen to extend the program up until at some point May next year. Hopefully, we're able to get more businesses to apply for these funds, but if there's funds for at least 180 small businesses.
So the 50K is just pure revenue.
Yes.
That's very low.
Yes.
How can you be in business with that?
This is for micro business. So maybe if you're operating out of your house, your
Sole props.
Yeah. So it's really meant for like the smallest businesses.
Would this apply to nonprofit organizations?
I believe not. This one is solely applies to businesses. So the next thing that we're gonna review are the small business license fee exemptions. So this came down back at the end of February with SB 94, which was signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom. And it provides 2 years of license fee renewal exemptions, both for the Department of Consumer Affairs for the barbering and cosmetology licenses. That's the only waiver that is applied automatically to businesses. So if you have a barbering or cosmetology license, your license fees for this year and next year have automatically been exonerated. So you won't be receiving a renewal fee notice in the mail for the next 2 years. As for the ABC license renewal fee waiver, that is something that businesses do have to apply for on a yearly basis as their renewal notice comes due. So for the ABC license fee waiver, there's only 3 steps that are needed to be done to apply. So first and foremost, you need to do the license search. You just visit the ABC website, or you can visit our website that has a direct link to the license search bar. So you type in your number as you receive your notice in the mail, which will be approximately 60 days before it expires. To verify eligibility, these are all the license types that are eligible. If you just type in your license, it'll do it for you. You don't have to go through the process on it extensively. There is a notice though for O2 licenses, which is for vineyards. So if wine growers that produce less than 100,000 gallons are also eligible for the fee waiver as well. So really small wineries can benefit from this. Lastly, you just submit your waiver. If you, once you enter your license fee information into the website, it'll automatically process whether you have any outstanding balance with the alcohol and beverage control, which if you do, it'll just require that you pay your balance in full before they're able to issue your fee waiver for that year. Again, if a business owner happens to have several ABC licenses, they have to apply for each one of those individually as they come to expire. So say you're a restaurant owner and you have 3 locations and you have 3 different licenses, they all expire at different times. You have to apply for each one of those individually for the 2 years that the program's in effect. The last one.
What was this information sent out to businesses, or how would they have known about?
They should have received a notice from alcohol and beverage control as well as the consumer affairs. If they haven't received a notice yet, that's what we're here for. We're here as a resource. Not all this information usually gets like publicly disseminated or blasted. But again, that's what we're here for, to make this aware of these opportunities as they come.
Thank you.
Yes. So the last and biggest resource we've identified is the federal employee retention tax credit. So Building Business Back is really delivering results for businesses here in Monterey County. We've been successful in helping some businesses get some of these funds. So we, for example, helped a business down in King City get $21,000 back with 5 employees, $200,000 for a marina business with 50 employees, and 1.4 million for a major hotel on the peninsula. So this employee retention tax credit means a lot of money for Monterey County employers. So what the Monterey County Business Council has done is we've gone ahead and partnered with a nonprofit foundation that specializes in employee retention tax credit processing. The foundation is called the William and Stephanie Foundation, and they have a long history and track record of helping minority-owned businesses with financial matters, but they are able to help all businesses, not only minority businesses. So the employee retention tax credit was created and authorized under the CARES Act of 2020. What it was done, why it was created was essentially it costs the government less money to pay businesses to keep their employees than it does for them to go through unemployment and have to issue those benefits. So this is an incentive for businesses to retain their employees if they applied for it during the pandemic, or post-pandemic, an incentive for having kept their employees during the pandemic. In order to receive the employee retention tax credit, organizations have to only meet 1 of 3 criteria, and we say organizations because nonprofits are eligible. First and foremost, your business must have been impacted by a government mandate and a wide range of ways. So if your business had to implement social distancing requirements, it was impacted by a government mandate. Maybe you had to reduce hours of operation, it was impacted by a government mandate. If you had supply chain disruptions due to a government, you are eligible. If you have to suspend on-site work meetings with your clients or with your fellow employees, that also makes you eligible for this credit. The second eligibility criteria is revenue based. And it's different for 2020 as well as for 2021. For 2020, your business must have had seen a decrease of 50% or more in revenue as compared to 2019. And for 2021, it's a decrease of 20% or more in revenue as compared to 2019. And the last category actually has a different amount for employees. So the first 2 eligibility criteria, you're eligible for between $5,000 and $27,000 for each employee retained during the pandemic. As for the last category, that's for startup businesses. That one's for people that started a business on or after February 12th of 2020, and they have at least 1 employee that is not a family member. So those businesses are eligible to receive up to $100,000 for quarter 3 and 4 of 2021. So those are the 3 eligibility criteria, and you only have to meet 1, and it's done on a quarterly basis. So say your business was reclassified as essential and these pandemic related issues no longer apply to you. Maybe there was still a revenue component, a revenue loss that you might still be eligible for. So we'll be able to analyze it on a quarterly basis to maximize your return. Lastly, to apply for the employee retention tax credit, we've really simplified it. you only need 4 documents in order to apply with an asterisk. So we already have one of them. So any relevant COVID-19 mandate information, our team has already gone ahead and taken the state, county, and city specific orders so that businesses don't have to go out of the way trying to verify which COVID-19 mandate applies to me. We already have that on record. So the only things that businesses need to apply, as well as nonprofit organizations, are quarterly P&Ls from the first quarter of 2019 through the third quarter of 2021, payroll records for all employees for 2020 and 2021, as well as tax form 941. PPP information, if the business received it previously, if you took PPP, you were not eligible to apply for this program. However, there's been revisions to the law, which now allow businesses to apply for both. So you can double dip both on PPP credits and ERC credits. As for healthcare information, if your business provided any additional healthcare assistance aside from that which was already mandated by the state government, initially you were required to do, for example, 10 days of employee leave. If your business offered 14, you can get tax credits for those 4 additional days that you provided that weren't required in the law. And again, we ask for that information because our team wants to maximize your return. So we'll analyze that everything holistically and try to get you as much money back as possible.
So I'll take it back from here. So all the information that was least covered and that I mentioned is all on our website. This is a screenshot of the first page. You see, it's MontereyCountyBusiness.com, where you can find the workshops that we've already done. They're all pre-recorded and posted. Federal funding information, so where the ARPA money actually went and how much of it, and the information that we could find regarding it. A big important page is the resources page, where we outline all of the grants, loans, and other resources that we found for businesses, and we update that bi-monthly. So on the 1st and the 15th, if the loans drop since then, we'll mark it down as no longer active, and if something has come back up, go ahead and post it back on there. And then we also have the minority-owned businesses resources page, where you can look into other information, and then our partners who we partnered up with. We also on our front page, we have a resource spotlight where we pick 3 of the most that we think that are important, that are returning back as much to the business, and we'll post it on the front, especially those that are coming close to an end. And then that's our presentation. Do you have any questions? Yes.
For the ERC, I noticed it said like you have to have employees and payroll, but what about all the sole proprietors that are out there?
They're not eligible.
They're
You have to have, it's employee retention tax credit, so it's employee.
right. So if you're a small micro business, or if you're a small sole proprietor, you have a storefront, you're the only guy working there, you're not included.
You're not eligible.
Yeah.
Got it.
Then you apply for the micro, right?
Yeah, that's $2,500.
That's
That pays for rent.
I'll be able to get these slides, or is it pretty much all on the website?
It's all on our website, but we can go ahead and email you the presentation afterwards as well.
Oh, yeah, that would be amazing. I think.
Are there any questions via Zoom?
Nope, we are squared away.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll stick around either way if you think does come up. If you have to speak with one person that you'd like to be your situation that you'd like to answer, we're more than happy to help out.
Sure, I'll add something. The boss guy shows in after they did all the work. Thank you guys all for coming to find out about all this. So my name is Paul Farmer. If you don't know me, I spent a lot of time in this building over the last 10 years. So I left to start this program, Building Business Back, and to put all this stuff together this year. And I will just say that it really thrives on our community relationships and our partnerships. When there are things going on out there and we're like, is this legit or what's up? You know, one of my friends told me about this employee retention credit. I don't know if the guys mentioned it. They might have mentioned it, but I called one of my friends who runs a hotel on the peninsula. I said, have you heard about this thing? She's like, oh yeah, we're getting a lot of money from that. So because people know who we are and we're allied with the county, they can trust us. And so we work with a lot of the local elected officials. We just did, again, I apologize if they mentioned it, but we just did a lunch last week in King City. And once people hear more about what we're doing, we're just here to help businesses in the community, because it's hard for you guys to figure all this stuff out yourselves. And once people learn about that stuff, we expect each of them to become an ambassador and say, yeah, contact them, they can help you. This is what we did. So, and we're also fortunate to have, as I know Jesus mentioned, community partnership money, and Small Business Development Center is one of our important partners. And we're reaching out, and I'll ask for your help in something too. And that is, we want to we support all businesses, but especially women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, LGBTQ plus, and ones in parts of the county that are unincorporated, like North County, Big Sur, that are not a city and whatnot. And one of the things that we want to do is use the funds that we have to support those people. So I was just talking with someone about California Women for Agriculture. So we've talked with Empower, we've talked with all these different groups. So if you have a group that you think, hey, maybe they should be aligned with us because they help get the word out, especially with businesses, but anybody, we've got funds available that we might be able to share some of that with them. And we've got a 3-year agreement with the county. We're finishing our first year. So we're expecting to continue that next year and the year after. And I will say also, it's a little early to tell you some big stuff that we're doing for next year. But our first year was really developing everything. We didn't have anything. We had an idea, like, let us help the businesses, but we didn't have a logo and a website and all the different things that we now have. Since those things are there, it means we have the ability to work on some bigger things for next year. So I have a meeting scheduled for next week with the economic development manager for the county, where we're going to say, like, here's some big things that we can do, and we'll settle on one of those things. And then the chamber is our partner as well. So if you're all members of the chamber, which I expect you are, we'll push out information about what we're doing through the chamber, so you can keep abreast of that. But we're trying to go to infinity and beyond.
Thanks.
We also have a question through Zoom.
All right.
Good. I'll let you handle this because you seem like you're on fire right now.
Oh, am I on fire?
Oh, yeah.
That's another way of saying I'm hot.
I don't know. if I can,
Cecilia
interpret
Kennedy
that.
wants to know, in regards to the employee retention credit, she wants to know, what if you have the same amount of employees? She didn't add, but kept the same amount and is part-time, okay?
Yeah, so I'll say the key, and the guys are smarter with the details than me, but I'll say the key word is retention. So it wasn't like you grow your employees, it was that you kept them. And part of the reason that the government came up with this plan was, if you all remember, in the beginning of the pandemic, 120 years ago, or however long it was, a lot of people were on unemployment, couldn't go to work. We didn't know what was going to happen. We were afraid, like, are we going to go into a depression? I personally thought, oh, I'm going to get a new car. It's going to be really cheap. Not so much. But the government thought, rather than have all these people on the unemployment rolls, if we could incentivize businesses to retain those employees, even if it costs us a lot of money, it'll be a lot less than have everybody on unemployment. So that's how this program started, and it's still out there to benefit everybody. So it's on retention. And they also asked about Cecilia. Thanks for asking, Cecilia. Asked about part-time. And part-time?
No, part-time employees aren't eligible. It's only full-time employees.
You guys speak other languages other than Spanish?
Sí, podemos hablar español todo el tiempo. No hay ningún problema. Si quieres que hable your language from over there, I don't speak that
No,
one.
but what about Tagalog or Vietnamese, Chinese?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. We're among our partnership list, and we want to work with the Chinese, the Filipino, every ethnic group that has a group that we can reach out to. Yes, we're reaching out to them.
Though, not Tagalog.
So our program, as Jesus mentioned when he showed the website, is completely in Spanish as well. Everything we do is completely bilingual. And we're working to reach out to those specific business communities through associations, and because they're not easy to find, right? There's nowhere you can go and say, give me a list of women-owned businesses. It doesn't exist.
Well, I went into a business yesterday, and they were Chinese and Vietnamese, two different businesses, and they did not speak English. So how would they even know about the EDC or the ERC or anything like that? And they're micro businesses, and they've been here forever in Old Town, but and they were personal services. So basically, they were closed for months, and those guys got nailed. So I can't communicate with them.
Right.
But
well, we do our best to communicate to all of them. We did go out and when we found out about a $10,000 grant to Asian and Pacific Islander owned restaurants, we went out, we first tried to identify them and went out and brought materials to them. A lot of times they may have children or teenagers who are running the cash register that we could talk to. So it is a challenge. We can't speak all of the languages, but we'll do what we can to communicate with people so they understand.
I make a suggestion, language line.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
They do a really good job of interpretation.
Good. What we are doing for next year, since most of the people who speak a different language is their first one, it's Spanish. So what we've done this year, they might have mentioned, all of our workshops have been interpreted into Spanish. And for next year, we're going to conduct 3 of them completely in Spanish, and we'll interpret it into English. And then the other languages, yeah, we'll do what we can with those, but you also have to look at how many people can show up for things and what you can do with them. But thanks for the suggestion.
Cecilia has a follow-up.
Oh, look at her. She didn't get a lollipop for every question.
She wants to know what kind of help is available for a business owned by a minority woman.
So if you have your certification, which we held a workshop this year actually on how to get certified as a diverse employer. So what that means is how to get officially certified from the state as a woman-owned business, a Latino-owned business, a Black-owned business, API-owned business, veteran-owned business. So in particular, how this can help you get more businesses, you can apply for set-aside government contracts. So there's government contracts that have usually like 5% of contracts are set aside either for women, minority-owned businesses, and different minority groups, as well as there's specific grant and loan programs that randomly come out throughout the year, which if you have that certification in place already, it makes the application process and your likelihood of getting the grant money a lot more likely.
And in addition to that, one of the things that we're planning for next year is to use our marketing dollars, because we also have a marketing budget and we have all our partnerships, but to use that to shine the light on successful local women-owned businesses, LGBT and minority-owned businesses. So we can, and we also have our social media, and we have a not insignificant number of partners, which is right now about 10 different organizations. We're about to ink partnership agreements with Hartnell College and with Monterey Peninsula College. So the more partnerships that we have that are formalized and where we're giving them some of the money that we get, the more that we're able to work together on issues that support the business community. So just marketing and highlighting those successful businesses within the community is something we'll be doing more of in 2023. Cindy.
And I would just add for Cecilia, if you have a business that needs any kind of help, there are resource partners in Monterey County that can help you with anything that you need. So like a small business development center, like a SCORE, like a women's business center, all of us help businesses that from the beginning stages all the way through planning on exiting. So if you need help, give us a call. We offer our services at no cost to you. We have expert consultants on our team that can work with you on a whole variety of topics. We pay them, you don't, you get the results, and we celebrate with you.
And I'll tell you, thank you, Cindy. One of the things related to that is what are the barriers that minority-owned businesses in particular face that other businesses don't face? Any ideas? But before you ask my question.
No, that's
okay. That one, go ahead.
That goes with my question. During the pandemic, I had a few minority owners and they were afraid to apply because of citizenship requirements. They have their permanent residency, but they were discouraged to apply for it because they didn't want to raise red flag. I have my permanent residency, but I'm not a U.S. citizen. I was told I cannot apply for this grant or this help because I'm not a U.S. citizen. There's something there that they need to be aware of.
Right. Well, so that's a good point, and that's a barrier, right? A fear of institutions and different groups like that. Fear of the banking establishment is a big problem in minority communities, right? We all know about a number of years ago, I went to high school in Watsonville, and there was a hotel that a lot of people lived in, and it burned. And a lot of people, their life savings may have been hidden in the mattress or something like that. So if they have fear of banking institutions, that's a problem, and that makes it harder for them to grow their businesses, right? So fortunately, the Small Business Development Center can help when access to capital and growing your business is a big deal, because what most minority-owned businesses do is borrow from friends and relatives, use those credit cards, like the worst way to finance your business. There's money out there, but we've got to pull them into the system so they start to learn how it works. There's also, there's an organization we have not fully vetted yet, but which has preferable terms for minority-owned businesses when they lend to them. So the degree to which we can understand stuff like that, the more that it helps those businesses. as we plan our workshops for 2023, which are all free, we keep in mind what are the challenges that people have, and we go out there and walk into the restaurants in the Alice Island, talk to the owners, and there's so many things that they could do to improve their businesses, but if they don't know about it, and one of the things, when you do things on Zoom or here in person, if they're outside of that thing, they can't really participate. So we realized though that one of the things that's very important, and I believe Jesus might have mentioned it about our programs or workshops for next year, is most people these days have a smartphone. They don't all know how to use it. And we know how to text and how to look at YouTube videos. But do you know how to, let's say you have some extra office furniture and you want to sell it. Do you know how to sell it on Facebook or Craigslist or different things like that? How about doing your online banking? Did you know how to, you don't have to go to the bank. You can take a picture of the check and deposit it. So a lot of us here who are kind of earlier on the technology adoption curve, we're like, I don't have to deal with all that stuff. But there's other people who are behind on that. So we want to be cognizant of that and say, what can we do? So let's have a class where we're going to teach you different things you can do that many of us in this room maybe take for granted. But those little things will help businesses. What about sourcing? What about buying things that you need to buy? My mom, I'm always talking about mom. I'm like, Mom, you can get pretty much anything on the internet, Back in the old days when I was young, that's a sad phrase to say. I got old. Back in the old days when you needed something like, a needle for your record player. Okay, please, I'm not the only one out of it. Really old. I know, right? So you'd have to drive around town and go to the store and ask them, you don't have it? Well, where do they have it? Oh, well, go try over there.
Right.
Oh, come on, are you kidding me? Or just to make a phone call sometimes, we would get lost because we didn't have driving directions. So we would have to write down, okay, and then turn at the Winchell's, okay, and then go down, and look for the what? The what? Okay, and then you invariably get lost, and then you have to find a quarter for a phone. I'm like, are you kidding me? So that you people don't understand the pain we went through. But my point is, a lot of the people who are business owners, younger people may take it for granted, but a lot of those people that come from foreign countries or this or that, there's common language that we all speak that not everybody does, and it's a barrier to success in their business. So anyway, that was a long-winded answer to some type of question. Let's see.
Are there any other questions?
All right. So what's the final takeaway that you guys got from the presentation today? This is our little focus group now. I'm gonna ask you, what's your takeaway? What did you learn? I'm pointing at you. I don't know your name. Sorry. No, the lady with the.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Actually, my eye contact. I'm like.
I'm just a micro-owned businesses. I think that there actually are a lot of businesses that are less than 50,000 in revenue because we work at Chase, we work in banking, and we see them every day.
Good.
And so that's really great to make sure that they actually have access to that.
Good. So we could also help by giving you some of the flyers. That's not our program, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're here to help people know about that stuff and support it. So that'd be great. Thank you. What's another takeaway? Someone. Caballero.
The tax credit for employers that retain employees from the pandemic. I don't, like you said, I think a lot of people are so busy just treading water that they didn't realize what's out there to make up for what they might have lost.
And the pitch that we give with that is any money that comes into our community helps everybody. And that's a lot. We're talking tens of millions of dollars, depending on the number of employees that a company has. I've talked personally with small business owners who are they heard about it, they start doing research, they're a little I don't know about this. So we've done all that stuff. We have a nonprofit foundation, as Jesus mentioned, you can trust us, we'll go through, here's how it works, and here's other people you can talk to who have gone through and done it. And he mentioned Rob Cullen in King City, he tried to do it, he's like, I need help. Went through it, he's like, great, we need to tell everybody. So I would hope that all of us here think about stuff like that, tell other people, because it helps the entire community. We're talking millions and millions of dollars that can come into our community and be spent over and over again.
So on the ERC, does the organization that actually does the stuff, do they take a fee?
Yeah, they do the fee, because there are people that have to do the actual work to do it. So the fee is 15%. And that's a very reasonable fee. I don't know if you've received any of these kind of spam emails by outside groups that are like, hey, there's a number of them out there.
Right.
What's that?
Only a few thousand.
But they're like, hey, we help with this stuff. Well, I mean, who knows who they are? One of the business owners I know said like he was concerned, what if I apply for this and then I wasn't supposed to get it? And then they come back, the IRS audits me in a few years and says, no, you have to not only pay that back, but also interest and fines and this and that. He's like, I don't know these companies and whatnot. And I said, those are valid concerns. So we talked with our partners about it. And there's actually an insurance program that if you're concerned about that, you can pay an amount. And then if there's ever any liability in the future, you're good. So we try to figure all that stuff out for people because again, small business owners don't have time to figure out all of this stuff and what makes sense. We need to have it, make it easy for us, you know?
Do you have brochures? And if you do you have them in both Spanish and English?
Claro que sí.
We have them at the table right here with the chamber stuff out there.
Yeah, they're right outside. There's one flyer that's on the ERC particularly, and there's a lot of information on it. Basically, kind of tells you everything you need to know, and front and back, English and Spanish. And then we have another very general one that just says, "Can you grab it?" Then there's another one that's just simple and says, "Help, ayuda." You know, I'm here, and this just says, here's what we do. Go to our website, talk to us. If you're a business owner and you're not sure, these guys love to talk on the phone. I do too. I love to talk too. So we're here to help you figure out what your situation is. Be happy I could let them talk for 20 minutes. I didn't interrupt at all while I wasn't here.
Only here for 2 minutes while you walked in. I was like, oh.
Anyway, okay, so I think we're done.
Questions?
Yeah.
Via Zoom, is there any questions?
No, we're good.
No?
All right.
Okay, round of applause for our guest speakers, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
And before we wrap up, we do have a couple of different announcements. There were on your chairs, there were some review sheets, so if you could please fill that out and provide your feedbacks and any thoughts, as well as if you're interested in hosting a lunch and learn in the future. We also have a lot of great upcoming events in January, so please keep an eye out on our website for www.salinachamber.com. And thank you all, and we hope to see you at the next event. Big round.
Yeah.
You guys want to hold the line?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Please and thank you.
What do you want? You want high five?
So financial.
Good.
We are.
Tú, ¿cómo estás?
You have a cash flow?
Yeah.